Ladies and gentlemen, teachers and judges, me and my colleagues, Sam and Charlie, will be supporting the motion. It should be illegal to target children in adverts. I will talk about the vulnerability and susceptibility of a child's mind, along with the effects that an advertisement gives off. I will start by talking about the susceptibility of a child's brain. It is shown that the first 8 years or so of the childhood are the most important years that determine the child's brain growth and development. Of course, there are many different factors to consider, but a big part is the child's interactions and experiences with the surrounding world. This is applied to children, especially between 8 and 10 years old, where they're the most vulnerable to influences, like social media, TV, and the growing use of internet and electronic devices. With a click, a child can be directed through hundreds, if not thousands, of different content just within seconds, exposing the kid to very unhealthy habits and actions. Well, let's take a look at the TV and only the TV. An average child is exposed to thousands and thousands of TV ads a year. They're bombarded with them. Specifically, 40,000 TV ads a year. This would be on average 112 ads a day, which is an absurd amount, and this is only accounting for the TV. If we add in electronic devices, the numbers can easily double or quadruple. For instance, by only watching a YouTube video, 3 ads are presented to the child. Then there are the ones at the side, the bottom, top, and the pop-ups. This is how much the poor kids are indoctrinated every day, ranging from ads about unhealthy foods, gender-specific toys, favorite action heroes, violent games. I could name thousands. This overwhelming amount can have a serious effect on the child's health.
Point of interest? Many ads are actually quite educational for children. They can teach them about healthy eating, and they can teach them about dental hygiene and about different social, political, and environmental issues. So is it not good to have those ads?
Yeah, but my colleagues will talk about that later. So let us use food ads as an example. There are so many of them promoting fast food restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King. There are also sugary products like cereal for kids. You guys know chocolate flakes. There are also the candy ads like M&M's. This increases a kid's desire to want to eat the food, which results in an overload of a specific consumable, leading to bad health conditions like cavities and other diseases due to the lack of nutrients. Kids are also exposed to very gender-specific products, whether it is cartoons, toys, or even normal house products, like Kleenex, which in 2021 is very controversial. Boys are only shown masculine products and girls feminine, which just divides the whole society into 2 very distinct groups of opposing sex. Think about the transgender, gay or lesbian kids. They will feel offended and excluded from the world around them. They can and will likely malinterpret it. This can lead to social problems that lead to anxiety and depression. Poor LGBTQ kids will have to suffer and be generalized into a group that they don't belong to. And considering all the efforts that the world is making to make them a part of this world, it would be a waste if the ads were marginalizing them from society. Another problem is that the children have not fully developed their perspective of reality and fantasy. This can lead to serious problems, resulting in the child's possible stuff, which results in the loss of life, crime, and so on. For example, a kid died jumping off a building trying to imitate Superman. A child died by imitating famous video game characters doing dangerous stunts. There are thousands of more cases which I could talk about. So, to sum up my speech, targeting little kids can really damage their social, mental, and physical life. Whether it is unhealthy diet to jumping off buildings, this is unacceptable and makes us humans rank very low. We are letting children die due to money-seeking billionaires. Thank you.
Shows that when a salad bar was covered with vegetable cartoon characters and nearby TVs playing videos with those same cartoon characters, 85% we send more students to a salad in a Rotary, proving that advertisements can encourage children to eat healthy and exercise regularly. Developing these habits at a young age is critical to maintaining a future positive lifestyle for oneself. However, educational advertisements do not only focus on the significance of eating healthy and sports. It also educates children on how to keep a good hygiene. This is an extremely important lesson for children to learn, especially during these hard times of COVID-19, where hygiene is key everywhere. Personal hygiene includes a variety of daily actions, which are highlighted in adverts, but they're not only mentioned. They're properly thought of, providing children self-reliance and responsibility. Poverty-stricken areas, developing countries, ocean conservations are all extremely important concerns of our planet today. And there's no better way of raising awareness than through advertisements to the future generations. When youngsters see these commercials, they develop empathy for others, not only for the people, but for all organisms in the verge of extinction. This is extremely important for children. And as a result, advertisements are critical into drawing attention to these remarkable issues and educating future generations on how to improve society by informing them on the significance of assisting those in need and providing solutions to make our society more equal. Overall, advertisements are incredibly educational for children, since they highlight skills, teach children how to lead a healthy lifestyle, and also how to have empathy for others. They teach children how to become more autonomous, which are important values in their youth. Educational advertisements can also be used to demonstrate to younger generations many aspects of their growth and a broader view of the world, which will expand their knowledge and will undoubtedly benefit them in the future. Thank you.
My name is Sam. Hello, I'm Henry. Today I have come here to discuss the motion, which is how targeting children with advertising should be legal and can actually be very harmful to the young generations in our society. In the following, I will talk about the several different points which defend the motion that will help you understand and agree with our point of view. My first point is how adverts create pressure on parents and can lead to harm. As child-centered advertisements are often effective, children will often go to the parents to nag them to buy the product that they have seen in an advert. Parents frequently give in to satisfy the child in order to, for example, help them fit in at school with kids who have already bought the same product. Many parents feel pressured to buy the items and may get frustrated as they do not like the item or the toy or do not agree with what it stands for. The main problem is that children may ask for gifts that the parents can simply not afford. This will create sadness for both the child and the parents. The kid may not be able to fit in anymore or be saddened by the idea of the family not being financially adequate. This can later have a bad effect on the child's mental health, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. My second point is that advertisement on children promotes unhealthy lifestyle. According to the Child Health and Development Unit of the World Health Organization, children who are exposed to adverts are frequently more likely to end up smoking, drinking alcohol, or having a poor nutrition.
The majority of all adverts targeting children do not include things to do with alcohol and smoking. That is a later life, so it's not relevant to stop it.
I don't know where you got that, but I read this from several different articles, and I'm pretty sure that it's correct. Okay. Adverts send the message that they need new ideas, new items all the time to be happy and accepted. In the long-term effects, this may lead them to have certain bad behaviors. Kids learn that the toys they have make them more popular, make them have more attention, and especially more friends. Many children may carry these behaviors to their adulthood and start, for example, smoking or doing unnecessary purchases with the little money they may have. Another example of unhealthy lifestyle created by adverts is how young people spend far too many hours on electric devices. This is because especially children become addicted on playing video games or social media that have been advertised and have grabbed their attention to download. The extensive use of electronic devices can lead to bad things in kids, for example, not socializing, not getting enough physical activity, and no progress in academic work, according to the World Council. My final points are about the environment and advertising can affect children's creativity. The toy industry uses 40 tons of plastic for every $1 million in revenue. This is the most plastic-intensive industry in the world. 90% of toys in the market are made of plastic. Advertising only increases the amount of plastic being made by all the children who see the plastic toys and nag their parents to buy it for them. As only 9% of plastics get recycled, a lot of the toys the children either stop using or grow out of end up in the oceans and natural environments. This affects biodiversity, the climate, and eventually us humans as well. Lastly, children's imagination is held back as they go to what they see in adverts to cure their boredom. This is not a good thing, as children are not able to challenge themselves and find something to play with, which is key to mental development and problem solving, according to the website Raising Children. Creative problem solving is needed for everyday obstacles in places like school, future work, or even at home. Thank you.
Amateurs. Good morning, judges, distinguished guests, teachers, and students. The motion for our debate is that it should be illegal to target children with adverts. We, the opposing team, believe that this statement is false. The first speaker from the opposing team has tried to tell you that adverts contain sexist content. However, this was true in the past, but now adverts are adapting to the new society's ideas. Our first speaker has already stated the reasons why adverts should be banned because of the education they provide. Today, I will be talking to you about how adverts fuel the GDP, create jobs, and support businesses. My first point is how advertising fuels the GDP. What is GDP? GDP stands for Gross Domestic Product. This is the entire amount of money a country earns from the sale of goods and services within a year. In the EU, advertising accounts for 4.6% of the entire GDP. Furthermore, every euro spent on advertising accounts for 7 euros of the GDP. So consider what would happen if we were to prohibit companies from producing adverts for children. It would not only have a major negative effect on small businesses, but on the entire country's GDP. And the entire country's economy. Therefore, this would make absolutely...
Are you talking about only adverts including children or adverts just generally for adults?
Well, I'm talking generally, but also 35% of adverts are targeted towards children, so it contributes to it. Now, on to my second point. Have you ever considered how advertisements aid the growth of a company? They do this by attracting more customers and helping sell more products to existing ones. They also increase profitability by increasing order size. Advertising can also help change negative perceptions about a business, and they can also bring visibility within the industry and help them attract more partners to help the business grow. As an example, if we look at children's television programs, we can see that they get their income from advertising. Whilst your children are watching a TV show, some ads will come on for a couple of minutes. The channel will charge the advertising company and gain a profit. So don't you think it's fair to give up a few minutes just so these businesses, can gain a profit and live a better life? If we look at this graph, we can see how much money...
So according to you, exploiting a child for more money is the right thing to do?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that just giving up a couple of minutes of a child's life can help many people in the world. If we look at this graph, we can see how much money some companies spend on advertising. As you can see, YouTube spent 15 billion in 1 year. This shows us how important advertising actually is for the growth of the company and for them to gain profit. So overall, when trying to answer the question, how does advertising aid the growth of the company? You can see it brings major expansion and profitability. For my last point, I will talk to you about how advertising creates jobs. In the EU, adverts create almost 6 million jobs. So how do they actually do this? Firstly, jobs are created to produce adverts. Secondly, jobs are created in media and online businesses like journalists and content producers. And thirdly, jobs are created in the wider economy from industries like sales and hospitality. So judges, distinguished guests, teachers and students. In conclusion, as you can see, it should definitely not be illegal to target children with these adverts because many advertising businesses bring jobs and help the GDP. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good morning to the opposing team, the judges, and whoever else be watching. Me and my teammates here are glad everyone made it here safe and good health today. Now, I'd like to bring in my 2 points, or 2 cents even, on this current debate, and I'd like to bring to light the following points. My first point will be why video games are an unethical practice, and my second point will be how the digital age has led by many who have no issue in abusing children's innocence. I will now start on whether video games are an unethical practice. The debate on whether video games are an ethical practice has been under fire in many countries due to their distasteful use of monetization. Video games are a very big part of today's youth compared to when it was first invented in 1958. Now there are billion-dollar companies scraping the skies with their earnings. Epic Games is one such company and has reported this year as their yearly earnings being $5.1 billion. Those piles of profit must come from somewhere. Now, Epic Games Fortnite was a smash hit, dominating the video game market in terms of popularity, and it's estimated to make $3.7 billion in 2019 alone. The way they get their money raises questions in their ethics. See, Fortnite is a game that caters heavily to a younger audience. Approximately 53% of their player base is under the age of 14. And with a questionnaire, that statistic put out in 2020, approximately 77% prepared to spend money on the in-game shop. That is 260 million people who are bought in the Epic Games Store alone. Now, I want you to put you into the shoes of a child. So we've played Fortnite for a while, and your friends are always talking about it. All their friends have all their cosmetics they want in their game. And now you know that one of your favorite items is in the item shop for a limited amount of time. You are now much more likely to buy it. Because you don't want to miss out on what might be the only opportunity. To the clever thing about Fortnite, the item shop has a built-in sense of urgency. Because their item shop resets every 24 hours only. And since you do not log into Fortnite at 1 o'clock in the morning, you have less than 24 hours to buy that specific item. So you're pressured to buy something that you might not know if you had more time. Now my second point is where I'll shift our view to the aspect of influences, where they affect the younger generation as well. I would like to bring apart that children under the age of 12 are now spending about 4 to 6 hours a day on their devices, and they're usually unsupervised. And some might think that they might see something that's not appropriate. Some people might say it's the parents' fault that they see something that's not appropriate. But that is not always the case. For example, if you go to YouTube Kids, where YouTube advertises that there's a safe platform for children, and you can just leave your child unsupervised on it, and YouTube will show something that's age appropriate. But with the YouTuber I'm about to be talking about today, he comes up in the YouTube app. So this influencer I'm teasing is none other than Jake Paul. Jake Paul is a YouTuber that has amassed the 20.4 million subscribers. Now, as all people, Jake Paul has news from his past legacy, but his legacy does prove much to be still in use on YouTube today. See, in one of his videos, for example, only a 13-minute video, over 7 minutes was only advertisements. That's up to 50% of just cramming in of advertisements on his latest song, his latest tour, and his merchandise. The phrase link in bio is basically a staple of the channel. Now, If we compare that to the TV laws that protect children, more specifically the Children's Television Act of 1990, where it's illegal for an advertisement to show products right after a show has been played. Now, for example, if your child is watching a show of a Pokemon show, they are not allowed to show products of a Pokemon show immediately after. Now, this, and there also comes with a limit on watch time. This limit on watch time is limited to over 10 minutes, only maximum 10 minutes in an hour. That is only 20%. Compared to Jake Paul's 50%, it's a clear indicator that not only within more modern times, they are violating the most basic laws that protect our children. Because most people do not know this, but children under the age of 8 are mentally incapable of interpreting advertisements from entertainment. So that children now are seeing, so what children are seeing is a different, what they see is a different from a normal YouTube show. But you and I see a shameless attempt to try and get children to buy products that they do not want. They see as just an entertainer doing their job. Well, in conclusion, I like to be able to say that it's illegal to target children with advertisements because it exploits basic human nature of fear of missing out, and it exploits an audience that is mentally incapable to view advertisements from entertainment. Thank you.
Good morning. To begin with, I'd first like to address some of the points made by the examinative group. To begin with, the first speaker mentioned reality versus fantasy, and he included video games, films. He mainly focused on video games, films, and TV. However, this is irrelevant, for it is not to do with advertising and simply to do with the media, which is another issue altogether. Also, the second speaker mentioned adverts promoting unhealthy lifestyles, including alcohol and smoking. However, it is legally banned for adverts to children to show these products, meaning they, and also... So that too is controversial. And the first speaker mainly focused on video games and electronic devices. Video games themselves are also a different matter.
I did not mention the adverts showing people drinking alcohol. I said that they created habits that later on in which adulthood would lead them to drinking alcohol and smoking. And my second point of view, point of interest.
Well, as I will mention later in my speech, if you prevent children from seeing these products, it will make them more susceptible for these products. Also, the first speaker mentioned video games, also a different matter, and the advertising within a thing. Normally, video games like this are targeted towards adolescents rather than children. Now I'm going to explain why advertising towards children shouldn't be illegal due to its social benefits and the social problems that will arise if it were banned. One of the main positive aspects of advertising is that many current ads break harmful gender stereotypes. Now, before you contradict me, let me explain. As the world becomes more aware, understanding, and accepting, so does advertising. People are constantly calling for diversity and inclusivity. And, as ads are only successful if they appeal to the public, marketing companies and campaigns are having to keep up with our ever-developing and improving society by creating socially conscious and modern ads. Also, in many countries, the portrayal of damaging gender stereotypes is already illegal. As a result, children of the next generation are already being shown a remarkable amount of ads breaking backwards gender stereotypes, meaning they will grow up without these deplorable social stigmas. Furthermore, numerous ads also raise awareness about various different political, social, and environmental issues, as well as supporting and promoting multiple different charities and non-profit organizations, such as UNICEF, Save the Children, and Children in Need, all of which rely on the help and donations they receive largely due to publicity from advertising. Consequently, Seeing all of these ads creates socially conscious and responsible adults, as well as helping millions of people and places in need. Multiple studies have shown that if you prevent exposure to ads when children are young, when they are confronted with advertising as an adult, they simply will not have the skills, abilities, or knowledge to handle advertising, meaning they will be more susceptible to marketing techniques and influences. Children need to grow up experiencing adverts in order to make smart, informed decisions during later life when they have their own financial and personal responsibilities. There are currently around 40 million people working in advertising aimed towards children. That is 40 million people with rents, bills, mortgages, and families that depend on them. 40 million human beings, just like you and just like me, whose lives would be devastated, whose livelihoods would be put in jeopardy, and whose futures would be crushed if we made advertising towards children illegal. Thank you.